welcome to today's video of On Bloody Ground, where I'm going to be using Caesar's campaign to play a battle with Julius Caesar against the British side led by Cassivellaunus. This is the table set up at the moment, so we've got the Romans with a defensive line, and the Britons have mustered a small force, not the most elite force, but they've decent sized force to try and repel Julius Caesar. So we'll do just a quick overview of what the armies are. So we've got some Roman cav with a sub-commander that's also mounted, 5 units of regular legionaries, all armed the same, so it's nice and easy to remember what's what. A couple of Scorpios on the hill there. It's going to be a bit tough for the Britons to actually get over that, but we'll see if they can do it. And then the main man himself, Julius Caesar, there. For the Britons, we've got some cavalry, some slingers there. We've got 2 units each of fanatics and just normal warriors. A couple of nobles there in reserve, and some chariots in the front there. Of course, every British general worth his salt's got to have some chariots in his army. Some archers there on the side, and Cassivellaunus himself on the chariot with 4 command points. So let's get straight into the game, see how it goes. Okay, so the game starts with the roll for initiative. I've got 2 dice here. I'm going to use the white dice for the Britons. So let's see who gets the choice to see who goes first. So the Britons get to choose who goes first, and they are going to go first because they want to close that gap between the 2 armies. So let's get straight into that first turn. Right, so as you can see, I've moved up the main force of the Britons. I've moved both units of chariots into javelin range, so these ones are going to be shooting those Roman cavalry. Those ones are going to be shooting this unit of legionaries in front of them. And I've not moved these slingers or the archers on the other side because they're both going to be shooting as well, so I don't want them to suffer any minuses for shooting at the moment. And I've also decided to leave this unit of cavalry in reserve, so we'll see what happens, and then maybe they can try and mop up some Romans if they start to run. So now goes into shooting phase. Okay, so you have to declare all your shooting before you actually start rolling any dice. So both the archers there and the chariots are going to shoot those Roman cavalry. Like I said before, these chariots are going to shoot those legionaries, and those slingers are going to try and mop up some of those legionaries over there that are on their own. So let's see how that goes. Right, so starting with these slingers, got 10 shots shooting. They're all in range, so they need 4s, but they've got some shield, so I need to hit on 5s. So just the 1 hit. Move these out of the way. The Romans have a 4+ armor save, so let's see if they get that, which they do. So those slingers have been ineffective this turn. Let's move on to the next unit. This unit of chariots is also hitting on 4s. The charioteer actually is a noble, so they're actually hitting on 3s with their javelins normally, but again they have shield, so going to be hitting on 4s for the black dice and 5s for the white dice. So they hit, and 1 normal guy. Armor saves again, so it's going to be 4s again, sorry, for these. So only 1 nobleman gets through, and then he's going to get on 4s. So he doesn't kill any, unfortunately. That's a shame. Same thing again for this unit of charioteers. This time, the Roman cavalry actually don't have as good an armor save as the legionaries, so hopefully I can get some casualties through. So again, 4s for the black dice, 5s for the whites. Very good that time. Like I said, 5+ armor save for this time. So really good armor saves. And then these cavalry aren't as good as the normal troops, so they're actually killing on 5s. So I don't kill any again. So it's just the archers now, so let's move on to them. So 10 shots from those archers into those cav. They're hitting on 5s again. Not too bad. 3 hits. Armor save is 5s. No saves, and then I'm killing on 5s normally, but I'm a bit too far away, so I'm actually going to be killing on 6s for this shot. And no kill, so that shooting phase for the Britons was absolutely shocking. So hopefully next turn we can try and do something a bit better. Now it's the turn of the Romans. Right, so this is the situation. Turn 1 for the Romans. At the start of each turn you have the charge phase, so this unit of Roman cavalry aren't too happy about this unit of charioteers of British cavalry shooting javelins at them. So what they're going to do is they're going to declare a charge against this unit. Now this unit has feign flight, so they get to shoot some javelins and run away before they get to complete their move. So let's do that shoot first, and then we'll move them away, and then we'll complete that charge. Right, so same as before, 6 shots plus the 2 for the noble in the chariot. So hitting on 4s for the black dice and 5s for the white dice. Ooh, throw them a bit too weirdly. So 3 hits, 5 plus armor save for these Roman cavalry again. So no saves yet again. So let's see if I can kill some. So 5s for the white dice, 4s for the noble. Let's see if I can kill something. So I get to kill 2 guys. I did roll a 6, and there is an attached commander in this unit. So if I roll another 6 now, it could potentially hit him. So let's see. No, so nothing hits him. So that's 2 casualties on that unit of Romans. Okay, so I've removed the casualties from that unit of Roman cavalry, and I've done the feign flight move of this unit of cavalry. So now what we have to do to complete the charge is determine the range. So that unit of cavalry we can see is 14 inches away from that unit. So they have to do their movement plus 2d6 for cavalry. So they move 6 normally. So I have to get an 8 on 2 dice to catch them. So it's not too bad, but it could be out of the realms of possibility. So 8 on 2 dice. Let's see if we do it. So I foul that charge, unfortunately. So cavalry can choose whether they want to move either both dice or a single dice. Now in that situation, the cavalry don't want to be moving too far out of position, so they're only going to move the 2 inches. So let's do that and then move on to the rest of the Roman movement phase. Right, so that's the Roman charge phase done. Now it's the movement phase, and the Romans are looking quite a strong position really. Julius Caesar's quite happy with his troops where they are. They're not suffered any casualties yet, and they know that Cassivellaunus's men want to be driving them away, so they aren't going to be moving at all this turn. So what we're going to do is we're going to go straight into shooting. The Romans don't normally have much shooting, but I've got a couple of Scorpios on that hill now that are looking at this unit of cavalry, so they're going to see if they can cause some casualties. So let's on bloody ground, from turn 2 onwards, what you can do is actually change the initiative. So the person with the initiative, which is the British player, can decide whether he wants to actually give the initiative to his opponent by spending a command point from the general. I don't want to do that. I mean, there's no reason to at the moment. And Julius Caesar, he's also happy with the way his troops are looking, so he's not going to try and steal the initiative. So with that sorted, turn 2 for the Britons, and let's get into it. Right, so I've done the movement of the Britons. As you can see, I've moved these charioteers out of the way, but still in range of those legionaries so that the main bulk of the army can start to get into range for charges. I've moved these chariots back into position so that they can start throwing javelins again and cause more casualties on those Roman cavalry. Again, both the archers and the slingers haven't moved, but I've moved one unit of fanatics now to face this unit of exposed Roman legionaries to see if I can cause some damage. And these cavalry have moved just to see whether I can go either left or right depending on what happens in the game. So once movement's done, as you know, moves on to shooting, so let's do that. I think actually I'm going to target the same units again with the shooting, but I'll reiterate what I actually did before. So those slingers onto those legionaries in the background, those charioteers onto that unit of legionaries, and both of these 2 units onto that unit of cavalry. So we'll start from this side again and see if we can cause some casualties this time. Okay, so now we know what we're doing with the hit rolls. We're going to do a quick roll in. So slingers onto those legionaries, hitting on 5s. Armor saves of 4+. No saves, and then killing on 6s for the range. So no kills. Then we've got the charioteers onto those legionaries. So 5s for the whites, 4s for the blacks. So armor saves of 4+ yet again. They saved the nobles one, unfortunately, and then it's 5 for these guys. So no kills again, unfortunately. Charioteers on this side, so again 6 shots from the main guys, 2 shots from the charioteer. Hitting on 4s and 5s. 3 hits. Armor saves only a 5 this time. Save 1, so killing on 4 to the black dice, 5 to the white dice. No more again. That's really good for the Britons. I think they've got dodgy weapons. And just the 10 archers left now. So hitting on 4s, shields 5s. 5s on 10 dice. Not too bad that time. 4 hits, 5 plus armor save. And then killing on 6s for the range. No more again. Really good from the Britons. I think they need to get into combat now. What do you think? So that's shooting done. Onto the phase for the Romans. Okay, so it's turn 2 for the Romans. And although they've not been taking any casualties from the shooting, they're not happy about this unit of charioteers keep on shooting their unit of Roman cavalry. So this Roman sub-commander is going to use one of his command points to issue a command or a movement order to them so that they can get in range of this unit and hopefully ride them down when to charge. So what you do is you spend a command point from the general that wants to issue the order. So that's one of them. A movement order is a 4+ on a single d6. So let's roll that dice. We'll do it here just so there's a bit more space. So 4+, which they fail. They can re-roll it if they want to, and I think he's actually going to use that. So you have one more chance to do that. So last command point, re-rolling 4+ to get that maneuver order off, and they do. He's rolled a 6. The army general can decide to try and intercept that order, but it's the Romans have rolled a 6 on that, so I don't think I'm going to be able to do that. So I'm going to have to let that order go off. So this unit of Roman cavalry is going to do a maneuver order for 4 charges because it's out of sequence. And then we'll move on to the charge phase. Okay, so I've done that maneuver for those Roman cavalry, and they're a lot closer to that unit now, which aren't very happy that those cavalry are right in front of them. So it's now the charge phase for the Romans. Again, the Roman legionaries, or Julius Caesar, are happy that his Roman legionaries are all in line. They're looking strong. So it's only going to be this charge. So this unit of Roman cavalry is going to charge this unit of charioteers. Okay, so those Roman cavalry have actually killed those charioteers, and now they get to do a surge move, which is a maneuver in any direction. So they get to pivot first. So in that situation, what I could do is pivot and move through this gap here and then try to exploit these lines. But because this commander doesn't have any command points now and Caesar's over there, I don't want to expose these guys too much. So what I'm actually going to do is turn them this way, and in the shooting phase I'm going to use their javelin. So I'll do that move and then we'll get back to it. Okay, so I've done that surge move for the Romans, and now they're in a position to throw their javelins at that unit of archers. So now that's the charge phase done, and the Romans actually get to do their movement now. So now that unit of Roman cavalry is free, they do actually still get to move in the movement phase. So they would still be able to march, move as normal, and they still get to shoot in the shooting phase. So wiping someone out is quite a big deal when you do it in the charge phase. So let's now move on to the Romans movement and see what I do. Okay, so as you can see, I've not moved too many things. I've actually moved both of the legionary units on the outside edge just to turn them so that they're facing the enemy opposite them. I've done it on this side so that if this unit of fanatics decides to come in, that unit, well, either of the units will have flank support. So it's not looking too good for the Britons at the moment. And as mentioned before, I've moved these Roman cavalry slightly further away, but still in range of their javelins to shoot their archers, just so that this unit of British nobles can't get a charge on them. So that was a really good movement and charge phase for the Romans. So let's see if they can do some shooting with those scorpions and the javelins of that Roman cavalry unit. So let's get into that. So I think those scorpions are going to shoot this unit of cavalry again, because it's looking like they actually might play a pivotal part later on in the game. So same thing again, they're going to be hitting on 6s. So starting with the first one, 6s to hit them. Actually does hit. So when you hit with a Scorpio, it's 1 roll to wound for each of the ranks of the cavalry unit. So I get 2 rolls to kill, and they're actually going to be killing on 5s. So let's roll that. There's no armor saves because it's a big bolt. So straight to the kill roll, killing on 5s. And that's none killed, unfortunately. So Those British guys are lucky. And then we'll see if the second one hits. 6s again. And it doesn't hit that time. So unfortunately they're ineffective again. Let's move on to the Roman cavalry. Okay, so this unit of Roman cavalry shooting these skirmishers. I've suffered 3 casualties now, so I only have 7 shots. The commander doesn't get to throw any or shoot with any missile weapons. So the Roman cavalry got javelins, hitting on 4s. 4 hits, which is nice. The skirmishers don't have any armour, so straight to the kill rolls, killing on 4s. That is 3 skirmishers dead, which is very good. You take casualties from missile weapons from the front, so that's 3 casualties, and that's the Roman shooting done. So not too bad, much better than what the Britons have been doing. So that's the end of turn 2. So start of turn 3 now. We'll see if anyone wants to change the initiative. The Romans might be wanting to change the initiative, so we'll have to see. So let's clean up and get into that. So I did say that the Romans might be considering to take the initiative or change the initiative, but they're thinking, well, we've killed some guys, you haven't, so, well, nothing that's significant anyway, so they're going to hold their ground and see what the Britons do. So it is turn 3 for the Britons, and as you know, it's the charge phase. So let's see if I want to charge anything. So I have positioned these fanatics to charge this unit. So let's see how far away they are. So they move 5, and infantry only get a single d6 to do their charges. So they're 9 inches away. So they're fanatics, aren't they? So they'll declare a charge. You know what? They'll charge them as well. They'll charge them as well. We'll hold these guys off because I don't think it would be good if I charge when they get flank charged, and I've also got that cavalry unit to think about there as well. So again, those 2 units charging those 2 units, and the fanatics charging that unit. So let's roll some dice and see what happens. Okay, so when you declare a charge, a unit that has missile weapons will get to shoot, but these guys, I haven't given them javelins this game. They've only got pilums, which are a throwing weapon, which you lose slightly differently. So they don't get to shoot any missile weapons, so it's just a straight roll for these. They need a 4+ to get in because they move 5, slightly quicker than the Romans. So 4+ to get in. So they just fail. So they move the 3 inches. So I'll do that and then I'll move on to the next charge. Right, as you can see, both of these units are 7 inches away from the units that they've declared a charge on. So they're going to need a 2+ to get in. What I'm going to do is move this unit first. So 2+ to get into that unit there. Let's see how they go. So they get the distance that they need. So they move in, and then we'll resolve everything that we need to before we move on to this next one. So let's move them in, get some dice and start rolling. Okay, so as I said before, the Romans have some throwing weapons, and I've also given the British warriors some throwing weapons which aren't nearly as good, but they still have them nonetheless. So we get 2 ranks to fight for throwing weapons, and that's for both units. So these guys get 14, these guys get 16. So starting with the Britons, 14 attacks hitting on 5s. Hopefully this does well. Quite nice rolling actually. Very nice. As you all know, the Roman armor save is 4+, so let's see if that actually helps in this time. 4+. Pretty good rolls. And throw weapons hit and kill on the same, so 5's the kill. Let's see if I can kill something. That's 1 Roman dead, so that's good. So I'll take him off, and then I'll get some dice for the Romans and see if I can kill some Britons. Okay, so as you can see, I've taken off that casualty for the Romans, but they do get to throw their throwing weapons simultaneously, so I do still have 16 shots. As I said before, the Centurion there doesn't get to throw any weapons, so 16 shots, and these guys are actually hitting on 4s with their pilums. So 4s. Ooh, that's not looking too good for them Britons. That was a hit. Now, unfortunately, the Britons, as you can see, don't have any armour on, so it's straight to the kill roll, killing on 4s, so this could be a bit bloody. 4s to kill. So 2 kills, not too bad, but not great. So I'll remove them casualties, and then we'll get into the combat. Okay, so now the casualties are removed. Now, throwing weapon casualties actually count for the combat results, so that's why we keep them there. And also, if any of your guys die from a rank that would be able to fight, they actually don't get to fight with that combat. So the Romans actually lose 1 attack there. So they're only going to have 15 versus the 14 of the Britons. Now, the Britons have charged, so they get rerolls on their attacks now. So they're going to be hitting on 5s, but they have the reroll. So hopefully this helps them. So 5s. Don't even think they need the rerolls, do they? Really good roll again. 5s, this is the rerolls. They're really nice hits. So they hit with 10, which is really good. But they do have to get through that Roman armour, so 4+. Roman armour's not too bad today. And then these warriors are killing on 5s. They're only the young guys, so they aren't nearly as experienced with their weapons. So 5s to kill. That is 3 dead Romans though. And as I said before, if you roll any 6s when you're rolling to kill, you re-roll 1 of them. And if you get a 6, it can hit that attached commander. So 6 to see if I hit that Centurion. Hopefully I do. I do. That's really good for the Britons. So I've killed that Centurion. I've hit that Centurion. And because he doesn't have any additional armor save, he actually counts as a casualty. So I'll move him. So that's 1 of them dice. And then I'll take 2 more Romans off, which is really good. And then we'll get onto the Romans attacks. Okay, so although I've killed now 4 Romans, as I said before, we sort out the attacks that we get to fight in close combat with before the combat, but after throwing weapons. So I only lost this guy from throwing weapons. So all of the rest get to attacks. That's 15 dice. Hitting on 4s for the Romans. And because I use Pelums, the use of the shield for these guys actually is lost in the first round of combat. So I am actually hitting on 4s, but they don't get a reroll, which is good. So 4s to hit. Not too bad there. As you already know, no armor save for the Britons. So straight to kills, killing on 4s. So they've killed 3. I don't have any attached commanders in the British Warriors unit, so I'll take those 3 casualties off and then we'll sort out momentum and the stand fast tests. Right, so how do you work out who wins a combat? Nice and easy. So you work out casualties first. So if I do the British Warriors first, that's easy. So I've killed 3 legionaries and a centurion, so that's 4 total. And then you get 1 rank for every 5 models, including the first. So you would normally get 3 for these guys, but they're only light troops. So you only count up to +2 for them. So 4 + 2 is 6. The legionaries have killed 5, and they just have 2 ranks. If they lost that extra guy, they would have lost that rank. So 5 + 2 is 7. So they actually win the combat, and they gain 1 momentum. So you can signify that by a counter, or we use like a turn marker kind of thing. So I'll put that down so you can see what's going on, and then we'll sort out what happens after that. Right, as you can see, I've put that momentum modifier there next to the unit that won, so we can keep track of that. So there are other modifiers that you can get to increase momentum, but you only get 1 for winning. So now what happens is this unit of British Warriors has to do a stand fast test, and it's really easy to do that. You get 2d6, and you have to get equal to or higher than your leadership, including that modifier. So that modifier is a -1 to your total dice roll. So their leadership is normally 9, but because I'm going to suffer -1 to my dice roll, I actually need a 10 now to pass this test. Otherwise, I'm going to be pushed back. So 10 on 2 dice. It's not looking good. Double 1, snake eyes. So that's not going to be good, because what will happen is I'll lose the difference in the number that I need in casualties. So what Cassivellaunus is going to do is going to bolster his troops, tell his men to stand his ground, and spend a command point there to get to re-roll any of the dice for a stand fast test. So I'm going to re-roll both of these, see if I can get higher. So 10. So 9. They didn't pass, but it's not too bad. So what happens is I'll lose 1 more casualty. I'll now get pushed back, and then the Romans can follow on, and we'll do another consecutive combat. So let's do that. Okay, so I've moved the unit that lost back 2 inches, and now we can fight a consecutive combat. So before that happens, I forgot to say that Cassivellaunus actually gets to try to see if he gets back command points on a dice roll of 6. So let's see if he does that first, because it could help me down the line. So 6+ and I get that back. He doesn't. So let's forget about that and move straight onto the combat. So the same thing happens again, but we don't get to throw fire weapons this time, and no one has charged. So it's just flat rolls. So we'll start with the Romans this time, and we'll see how the Britons do. So combat for the Romans first, just because they won. It doesn't matter which order you do it in, but I'm just going to do it for the sake of the video. So the Romans have 13 attacks now, so slightly less than the Britons. And I do get the use of the shields from these guys this time, because it's the second round of combat. So the Romans are hitting on 5s now. So 5s. Pretty nice. 6 hits. No armor saves for the Britons, so killing on 4s. Oof, that's not good for the Britons. So 4 more dead. So I'll take them off, and then I'll grab the dice for the Britons. Those guys are dead, they're taken off. So I've got 14 attacks back with the Britons, hitting on 5s as well. Not as good as the Romans, unfortunately, and the Romans have their armor saves. So 4+ armor for the Romans. And then 4s to kill. Actually, it's 5s to kill for these guys, because they're not as good quality. So 1 Roman dead to 4. So we know who's going to win. So let's sort out the momentum. Okay, so I've taken off those casualties, and I've increased the momentum on the Roman side to 2. So now I need to roll 9 minus 2 for the momentum. So I need 11 on 2 dice to pass this standfast test, or I'm going to lose some casualties. So 7. I'm going to lose 4 more guys. I'm not too worried about that. I don't want to keep on spending too many points from Casa Valona, so I'll take off the 4 casualties from the Britons. I'll push them back again, and then we'll have that 3rd consecutive combat, which is the last chance for these Britons to stay around. Otherwise, they're going to be destroyed. So let's sort that out and then roll some more dice. Alright, so back to the Romans' attacks. We now only have 12 Romans fighting against 14 Britons, which is why I wasn't too worried about taking off those casualties at the back there, because I know I still get to fight with my full capacity there. So Romans again hitting on 5s. They're doing very well today. So take them misses out, killing on 4s. Only 2 this time. And then we get straight into the Britons. So 14 attacks hitting on 5s. Much better. Some armor saves for the Romans. 4s. Really good armor. So looking good for these Britons now. And 5s to kill. So no Romans dead. They're doing really well. So I've lost another round of combat. So we don't need to work out the momentum. We know that the Britons are lost. So that goes to 3 now. So 9 minus 3. That means I need to roll a double 6. Or this unit is going to be destroyed because they've lost a 3rd consecutive round of combat. So hopefully I get some lucky dice. Double 6 on 2 dice. Here we go. Nowhere near. So what you can do is you can decide whether you think the situation is going to be really bad. The problem is that I'm the unit that charged. So it's going to be the Romans' turn 3 if I don't kind of come up with some sort of plan. So I'm going to use another command point from Casa Valornis. I'll re-roll both dice because I need to get 2 6s. So double 6. Close but not close enough. So they're going to be destroyed. Before that happens, I get to see whether I get his command point back on a 6, which I don't. So I lose this unit. The momentum goes. And now this unit of Romans can do a surge move like the Roman cavalry did earlier on in the game. So I'll move that and then we'll move on to the next charge. Right, so I've surged that unit of Roman legionaries into a position to threaten the flank of this unit of British warriors. But before that happens, or before I declare the charge, sorry, this unit of charioteers and this unit of British warriors have to do a test for destroyed friends within 6 inches. So it's a leadership test, and the difference is just guys that run away, but they're taken off as casualties essentially. So 9 for them, 9 for them. Starting with these, they lose 2 models, so they'll lose these 2 because they're closest. And then for these guys, 9, they lose 2 models as well. So I'll take them casualties off, and then I'll roll the charge distance dice for them going into the combat with this unit of legionaries. Those casualties are now been taken off. And as we know from before, I'm 7 inches away from this unit, so I need to roll a 2+ on the d6 to get in. So they're definitely getting in. They're up for avenging their fallen friends. So let's move them in. So you move directly in, and you maximise the models that are fighting, which is already done. So that's done. Now on to frying weapons. So let's get some dice and roll them. So 14 dice of the Britons versus 16 of the very fortunate Romans. So 5s for the Britons. Let's pick out the hits because there's not that many. Again, armor saves of 4. Ooh, that's good. 5s to kill. That's 2. Oh, it was nearly 3, but it's 2 dead. I've got a 6 again, so hopefully I can kill that Centurion again. So 6. So 2 dead Romans, and then 16 attacks back from their frying weapons. Okay, so 16 attacks back from the Romans' Pelums. These guys are actually hitting on 4s though, so much better. So 4, 16 dice. Ooh. Let's take out the misses. No armor saves, killing on 4s. Oh my goodness me. So 5 casualties on the Britons before they've even gone into combat. Not looking good, but let's see how it goes. So as mentioned before, even though I've lost 5 guys already, I've still got 2 full ranks fighting. The Romans have only lost 2, but they've actually lost 2 attacks. So let's see if that can make a difference. Warriors hitting on 5s, re-rolling for the charge. That was absolutely shocking. Don't think they want to revenge their friends. I think they want to go home. 5s again. They've made up for it a bit. So take out the misses. 1 there as well. So armor saves the Romans. 4s. And 5s to kill. 1 dead Roman. Could it be the Centurion? It isn't. So 1 dead Roman. And then I will get the dice for Romans and roll to see how many Britons die. So the same amount of attacks back, 14, but the Romans are going to be hitting on 4s with no rerolls. That's a hit, so no saves, killing on 4s. So 4 more dead. That's 4 casualties from the Romans. We know that the Romans have won that fight very clearly. You can tell how important it is to have at least some form of armour in this. So we'll put 1 momentum on the Romans, and then we'll roll the stand fast test for these Britons. Right, so hopefully you can see this pretty well. So the archers haven't moved again. They want to try to sort out these Roman cavalry that have killed their mates. The reserve nobles have been called up by Cassivellaunus to fill that gap that's been left by those charioteers. So they've now formed slightly more defensive line with those fanatics, because they know if they go into those 2 legionaries, they're not coming out alive. Obviously, these guys are still in combat, so they're going to fight in the combat phase next turn. Cassivellaunus has made sure that he's got range for all units that are around him, so that he can use any command points within that 12 inches. Those chariots are sneaking behind that unit that's turned, so hopefully they can cause some casualties there. And I've moved this unit of fanatics back so that they're not too close to this unit of Roman, so they don't get charged, or it's slightly harder to. And now this cavalry unit is starting to sweep in to see if they can hit that unit of Roman legionaries in the flank. So what we do now is shooting and then combat. So actually I'll declare the shooting now. So those slingers onto that unit of legionaries there. Those chariots onto that unit of legionaries. It's the same thing again, really. And that unit of archers onto those cavalry. So, actually, do you know what? I'll start from this side this time, because I've not been getting lucky on the other side. So, I'll grab the dice and let's roll some. So, starting this side, 7 archers on the cav. Now, they're in close range this time. So, if they hit any dice, they're killing slightly easier. So, hitting on 5s, because the Roman cav have shields. 5+ armor save for the cav. Oh, them cavalry are doing very well this game. So we'll do these charioteers. So 4 normal guys plus the 2 nobles. The noble gets to shoot twice, even though it's one model. So hitting on 4s for the black dice and 5s for the white dice. Let's just move on from that. I don't think that was very good at all. And then it's just the slingers there. So it's 10 shots from the slings. Hitting on 5s. 1 hit. 4s for the armour. And because of the range, it's actually going to be 6s to kill. So, gotta be lucky. Unfortunately not. So, again, no casualties from missile weapons for the Britons. So, let's get into combat. Okay, so all of you watching should now know what the leadership is of this unit of warriors. Do you want to take a guess? Yep, it is 9. So 9 minus 1 for the stand fast. For the momentum. So they need a 10 to stand fast. 7. They're only taking 3 casualties. I'm happy with that. Well, I'm happy with taking only 3 casualties there. So I'll take 3 off, get pushed back 2 again, and then we'll fight a consecutive combat. So 2 momentum on the Romans. That means I need to get 11 on 2 dice for these guys to stand fast. So 11. No. But what I want is these guys to stand, because if they stand, that means that I'll put a spanner into the works of the Romans next turn. So Cassivellaunus will use another command point. He'll re-roll both dice. And looking for 5 and a 6 or double 6. Oh, it's even worse. So that means I take 7 casualties. I have 9 guys left. So I'm left with 2. I get pushed back again and we fight again. Okay, so before we fight that combat, Cassivellaunus again, 6+ to get that command point back. He didn't get it back that time. I didn't expect that. Okay, so I have moved this unit back 2 inches. So as you can see, I've left the guys on the tray in the middle. So the reason for that is we maximise the combat straight away. So it's going to be 8 Romans fighting against 2 British warriors. So who do you think is going to come out on top? Yeah, it's definitely going to be the Britons. So 2 attacks, hitting on 5s. They're definitely giving up now. It is 8 attacks back from the Romans. Hitting on 5s. 2 hits. 4s to kill. So 1 left. So we know that the Romans have definitely won that. Their momentum now goes up to 3. So double 6 on the last guy. Can he be a hero and save the rest of his tribe? Double 6. He can't. He's given up. I don't blame him. So what happens is these guys are removed. Everyone within 6 inches would have to do a panic test for friends destroyed within 6 inches. Now these would normally have to do it, and they're the only unit within 6 inches. These are fanatical, which means they don't care about any of that, so they don't have to do that test. So all that happens now is they get to do a surge move, take off that momentum, and then we'll see what the situation is. Okay, so I've done that surge move for these Roman legionaries, and this centurion is trying to get promoted. So what he's done is he's maneuvered his guys into the flank of this unit of fanatics, ready for next turn, because as he knows, it's their turn next. So this is the situation after Britain turn 3. It's not looking good in the centre, but the game's not over until it's over. And these fanatics might be able to hold their own because they're slightly better in combat compared to the warriors. So that's that. Start of turn 3 for the Romans. Let's see what happens. Right, so it's charge phase. So this centurion's going to declare a charge on these fanatics. Because it's in the flank, these guys cannot actually do anything but stand. They can't shoot any missile weapons if they had them. So they're in no man's land there. Going to be charging. We'll sort out what happens with commanders in the way, but it's very easy. And then this centurion, seeing that his comrade is looking to get a promotion. He wants to get a promotion as well. So he's going to declare a very long charge onto this unit of fanatics. Now, it is going to be 8-inch charge, so they're going to need a 4+, but it's not out of the realms of possibility. So we'll start with them first, needing a 4+. And they get in. Everything's working for the Romans this game, so we'll move them straight in. Nice and easy. And as you know, what happens is throwing weapons. So let's get some dice and start throwing them. Okay, so it is the Romans' turn, so we'll actually be starting with the Romans this time. So it's 16 attacks with their pilums, hitting on 4s. So not too bad. And then killing on 4s. That is 5 dead fanatics. That's really good. Actually, I'll put them here so it's easy to see what's going on. So 5 dead fanatics. There's 14 throwing weapons back from the fanatics. Now they also hit on 4s. I said they're slightly better, so 4s for them. Armor save for the Romans is 4+. Not too bad there. Hopefully these fanatics can kill some Romans before combat starts. So 4s. Killed a slinger. So I'll reroll this one. That's 2 dead Romans. And is it a centurion? It's not. So 2 dead Romans compared to 5 dead fanatics. So let's get some dice for combat and let's see what happens there. Okay, so things aren't going too well for the ancient Britons. But one of the good things about these fanatics is that their leadership value starts at 7. So they're going to need 7 minus 1 for the momentum. So they only need an 8 on 2 dice. So let's see if they can get that. Double 6, they don't care. So that momentum goes. That combat ends straight away. And we move on to the next charge, if there is any, which there is. So go on to this one. So what happens is, if this guy's in the way, he just moves slightly back there. Nice and easy. And then we'll determine the distance between these 2 units and then roll the dice. Right, as you can see, the Romans are 5 inches away from their enemy. They move 4, so they only need to roll a 1 on the dice. That doesn't matter that they've only rolled a 1. They just get in anyway, so let's move that. Move these guys in. Again, you make sure that you align so that as many of each side are fighting straight away, so that's perfect alignment. Don't forget the Centurion, he's trying to get promoted. So that now triggers a combat, so let's do that. As mentioned earlier on in the battle, there are other factors that actually influence how many momentum you get for winning a combat. So you always get 1 for winning a combat, and because the Romans are in the flank of this fanatic unit, they get an additional modifier of +1. So even though I've only lost 1 combat, I've got to do a test now at -2. So they start at 7, -2, so I need a 9 on 2 dice here. So 6. So I'm going to take 3 casualties. Do you know what? I think Cassivellaunus is going to use his last command point here and try to keep them there. Because if they pass a standfast test here, they actually get to turn. So let's use that command point. I need a 9. They get double fire, so they pass that test. So this combat ends. Cassivellaunus will get his command point back on a 6+, which he does. Fantastic. He's got 2 back this game. That rarely ever happens. So, like I said, so this combat ends, but I don't instantaneously turn. What happens is, in the combat phase, these guys can turn when the next fight. So what can happen is you could order, say, a charge from one of these 2 units to try and stop these guys from turning, but that's not likely to happen. So that's the charge phase done for the Romans. So again, it's not looking too good for the Britons, but we'll see what happens. Now on to the movement. Okay, so I've moved the Roman legions and Caesar himself into a position to actually start to mop up the rest of the British units. Now, like I said, I can declare a charge, an out of sequence charge order on one of these units. So I think I probably should be doing that, because otherwise these fanatics are going to be able to turn at the start of the combat phase. So this unit is going to be given an order by Julius Caesar himself to do a charge. Now, a charge is normally a 5+ to get the order off. Now, I am 6 inches away. So if they get that charge order off, they only need a 2+ to get in. But I need, before I do that, a 5+ order to get in. Now the Romans are drilled, which means they get +1 to any orders that they receive, so they only need a 4+. Let's see what happens. So they failed. Caesar doesn't like it when his troops don't listen to him, so he's telling them to definitely charge, otherwise they're going to get decimated. 4+. They do it on a 6. Look, that threat of decimation. So they declare the charge. Cassivellaunus can try and intercept that order, but he'll need a 6 with his last command point. So he's been rolling quite a lot of 6s this game, so he's not going to test his luck. He thinks that those fanatics can probably take a hit to the side, to the front. Sorry. So let's see what happens with this charge. So 2+ to get in. They get a 1, so they foul that charge and only move 1 inch. Luckily, those fanatics are wiping their brows, and Julius Caesar doesn't look too happy there. So let's move that, and then let's go on to the shooting phase. When it comes to shooting, I think we're going to do the same thing again for the Romans. So those cavalry are going to try to kill those archers, and these Scorpios, seeing that these cavalry are now a lot closer, they reckon that they can probably hit a bit more now. So both of them are going to shoot those cavalry. So let's start with the Scorpios. Now they were hitting on 6s earlier on in the game, but that was because they were over half range. So now they're hitting on 5s. So first one, hitting on 5s. Misses. Second one, hitting on 5s. Hits. That means I get 2 rolls to kill, and they're killing on 4s this time. That's 1 dead. Not too bad. And then we have the Roman cavalry, so 7 dice hitting on 4s. Let's roll it here. 3 hits, killing on 4s. That's 2 dead. Okay, so that's these 2 guys. Now, luckily, there's still 5 skirmishers left. If I took 1 more casualty there, these guys would have counted as being dispersed, and they would have been taken off the field. So I got lucky there, but the Romans are doing really well with their shooting this turn. So shooting is now done. Now it's on to the combat phase, and I get to choose between this unit or this unit. So let's clean up the table, and then we'll start with one of the units. Okay, so I think the combat over here is a little less juicy than the one in the middle. So let's start with this first. 14 Romans fighting the fanatics, hitting on 5s. So not too good, not too bad. Killing on 4s. That's 1 dead. Put him here. And then we have 11 fanatics fighting back, hitting on 4s. So very nice. Roman armor save, 4+. And then killing on 4s, these fanatics. So 2 dead. There is a centurion in there, so if I get another 6, he's dead. No, it's a 2 dead Romans. So let's work out momentum. The Romans have 1 rank and killed 1. That is 2. The Britons have 1 rank and killed 2. So they've actually won this turn. So they gain momentum. And that means the Romans have to do a standfast test this time, -1. So they start with an 8. So they need a 9 now on 2 dice. So they failed that test. But now you get to see what the Centurion does. So as long as he is still alive in that unit, they get to re-roll 1 dice for command test. So I'll re-roll this 1 dice. Now, if this is less, I have to take that result. So it's worth a shot. Julius Caesar is over there, and he is in command range for his re-roll as well. So re-roll the dice here. I need a 4+ to pass. So that Centurion is coming handy. I definitely think he deserves a promotion. So they pass that test. the momentum gets taken off, and then that's ended. So let's move on to the next combat. Okay, so because these fanatics actually stood fast the last combat, they can turn. They don't have to. Obviously, I'm taking a risk here because there's some Romans in the flank. So I'm hoping that everything goes the way of the fanatics this turn. So it's the Romans' turn. So let's start with their attack. So they have 11 dice. 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 dice. Hitting on 5s this time. So that's much worse than it was before. They should have taken advantage of that flank charge a bit more, I reckon. So 5s. Ooh, only 1. And 4s to kill. So not even 1 this time. The fanatics now have 14 attacks back, hitting on 4s. So much better. Hopefully they can avenge their fallen comrades. Looking good. Roman armor save this time, so 4s. Ooh. And then 4s to kill. So, oh my goodness. So that is 5 dead Romans. That Centurion has got a bit bolshy. Can he die on a 6? Ooh, he does as well. So that's what he gets for showing off. So that is 4 dead Romans and dead Centurion. That's very, very good for the fanatics there. So you can quite easily tell that the fanatics get the momentum this time. So we put that there next to them. And the Romans now have to do a test on 8, -1 for this, and 9, and their Centurion's dead as well. So 9 on 2 dice. The 5, so that means they take 4 casualties. Caesar doesn't want his guys to run. They don't want to run because they'll get killed anyway. So Caesar's going to use one of his command points. He's going to use... So what? He'll just roll 1 dice. 5 plus. No, so they fail. They take 1 casualty for failing a stand fast test. And then I'll push them back. So before I push them back, I'll take off all of these Roman casualties, and then we'll move on to the next consecutive combat. Okay, so they've been pushed back 2 inches, and now it's the second combat. 6 Romans fighting the large fanatic unit that they failed to take advantage of earlier on. So hitting on 5s. That's not bad. 4 hits. Killing on 4s. Whew! They made up for it. I think Caesar's whipping them at the back. So 4 dead fanatics. Okay. And then it is 14 attacks back from the fanatics. Hitting on 4s. Roman armor save. Ooh, very good. Killing on 4s. So 2 more dead Romans. So the Romans have killed 4 and have no ranks. The fanatics have killed 2 and have 1 rank. So actually what happens now is these guys have to do a test. So what happens is the momentum goes to the Romans now. And the fanatics have to do a test on 7 -1. That's 8. So they pass the test. So that combat ends. Momentum goes. All of the casualties are cleaned up, and that combat ends. So it nearly looked like those fanatics were going to take advantage of that, but the Romans held on. Okay, so that is the end of Roman turn 3. It's actually quite a good turn, actually. Lots of different things happened. Those fanatics in the centre nearly clawed their way out of trouble, and these fanatics there are holding on for dear life, I think. So turn 4 now, it's looking like Caesar is probably going to try and change the initiative now because he's in a good position there. He can try and finish off those fanatics. These legionaries could try and charge these cavalry before they get charged themselves. So let's see what happens. So turn 4, Caesar has decided that he's going to try and change the initiative. So to do that, what you have to do is spend a command point to declare that you're going to try and change the initiative. Now, as the player with the initiative at the moment, as the British player has the initiative, he can declare that he wants to try and resist that change. Now, if I wanted to do that, you could spend as many command points as you have secretly. So it'd be 1v1. And what you do is you do a dice off, and whoever wins that dice off keeps the initiative, or the initiative goes over to them. So Cassivellaunus can't risk the initiative being changed because otherwise his troops are going to die. So he spends a command point. Julius Caesar has to spend another command point to actually roll one dice. So I'll use a white dice for the Britons and a black dice for the Romans. Who's going to win? And it is the Britons, so they keep their initiative. Caesar has now run out of command points, and also Cassivellaunus, can he get his another command point back on the 6? He does as well. He's very patriotic today. So turn 4 for the Britons. Caesar has tried to be a better general and take advantage of the situation, but it's not his day today. So turn 4 for the Britons. Let's see what happens. Okay, so I've done some measuring up for the charge phase for the Britons, and the nobles have decided to try and get rid of these Roman cavalry that have been a thorn in their side since the start of turn 1. So they're going to declare that charge. The Roman cavalry declare a stand charge, and that means they get to throw their javelins. Now, because currently they're out of range, javelins are range 8, what you do is, well, I would declare any other charges, but I'm not going to declare any. So I roll the dice to see if I'm in. So they move 5 and they roll an additional dice to get in. So I need a 4+ to get in. So let's see if I get in first. So they fail that charge. So what happens is they move up to that 3 inches. So actually I'll do that. So 8 to 5. Then what happens is they get to throw their javelins. So 7 javelins, hitting on 5s for 2 hits. These nobles actually have a 4+ armor save as well. So 4s, and they save them. So that's a failed charge. That's all the charges for the Britons this turn. So let's move on to movement. Okay, so I've done the movement for the Britons here. So I've moved the cav over a little bit so that they're in range to shoot their javelins. The chariots that are left are in the rear now to throw some javelins. I've left the slingers there because they're actually in the flank of this Roman unit now, so they can shoot into combat. Now, this unit, although they failed that charge, they can still manoeuvre in the movement phase, so they've just manoeuvred back into a more defensive position. Hopefully this unit here actually kills, or at least gets this unit down to a kills them so that they can then surge and get into a more advantageous position. So it's not looking too bad for the Britons at the moment. So what we do now is shooting. So again, we'll do the rest of these archers onto that cavalry unit before they get destroyed, and then the slings into the side there. So let's get the dice and then roll them. Okay, so we have 10 slingers here. Shooting into combat, so it can actually be quite detrimental to my guys. So let's see what happens. So slingers hitting on 5s. 2 hits. Roman armor save of 4. And then killing on 5s. So no kills for the slingers. Then what happens is if you shoot into combat, all friendly units engaged with the target have to do a test. A leadership test. So that is 7. So they pass that test. If they failed that, obviously the difference in the number would be the amount of casualties that I take. So normally you don't want to be shooting into combat that often, but I think it could have helped there. So we'll do the cavalry into these guys here now. So I have 11 shots. I did move, but javelins, it doesn't matter when you move with javelins. So hitting on 5s. 3 hits. 4+ armor save. And killing on 4s of these. So that's 1 dead. Their centurion died at the start of the game, so that's 1 casualty from there. 4 plus the 2 javelins in the rear. Shooting in the rear doesn't make any difference. So 4 to the blacks, 5 to the whites. 2 hits, Roman armor save. And 5s to kill for these. So no more dead. And then we've got 5 archers here, hitting on 5s. And they miss. They've also given up now, I think. So that's shooting done. Just combat. So we've got 2 combats here. So I'll tidy up and then we'll get onto them. So again, we'll start on this side. Starting with the Fanatics this time because it's their turn. So hitting on 10 dice, sorry, hitting on 4s. Ooh, very nice. Roman armor save of 4. And then killing on 4s. That's 1 dead. Actually, there's a Centurion there, so lucky 6s. No, so just 1 dead Roman. That's alright. And then we have 12 Romans fighting back, hitting on 5s. So 3 hits. No armor for the Fanatics. Killing on 4s. So 1 dead Fanatic. So let's work out combat score quickly. So 1 rank for the Fanatics and 1 kill, that's 2. 1 rank for the Romans and 1 kill for the Romans. So that's a draw. So nothing happens. Then you move on to the next combat. Okay, so next combat is... So we have 6 guys plus the 4 behind. So we actually have 10 Fanatics fighting. And then 4 Romans. So Fanatics hitting on 4s. And then the Roman 4+ armor save. Oh, I could kill all of them here. 4s to kill. I do as well. So they're all dead, but they do get to fight because it's all simultaneous. So 4 dice hitting on 5s. Not too bad. Killing on 4s. So they kill 1 on their way down. So 1 dead Fanatic. That's a dead unit. So before they get removed, all friendly formed units, all friendly units within 6 inches have to do a panic test. So it's only going to be them. So they have to do a test on an 8. And they're fine. They're definitely fine. Roll double 6. So I'll remove these Romans and then I'll surge with these Fanatics and then I'll show you what's the situation after. Okay, so I've surged these Fanatics into the flank of this unit now. And now that combat phase is done, there's no more fighting. But what I can do is, because these guys haven't actually declared a charge this turn, I can issue a command, or an order, sorry, to this unit to charge. So that's what I'm going to do, because if that comes off, maybe the tide of battle may have changed. So spend a command point from Casa Villanus. I need a 5. They're not drilled, unfortunately, like the Romans, so 5+ to get that charge, which they do. Caesar's used all of his command points, so he can't try to intercept that order. And let's see if Casa Villanus gets his command point back on a 6. No, so Casa Villanus has now exhausted all of his command points, but this unit is now charging. So we know they're in, so what I'll do is I'll just move them straight in and then we'll resolve that combat. Okay, so I've moved the charges in now. What happens is, at the start of combat, you have to align everything to be maximum. So what I'll do is I'll move these Romans across, and I'll move these 3 at the back across, so that we both get the maximum amount of fighting. So I'm going to get 7 throwing weapons, and as you know, you can't use throwing weapons to the side. So 7 throwing weapons hitting on 4s. Count that one. So 4 hits, Roman armor, and then 4s to kill. So I've killed 2 guys. So they wouldn't get to fight now because it's before combat, but they don't get to fight anyway because only these guys get to fight. So again, 2, 4, 6, 7 Fanatics hitting on 3s. The Romans have their shields of 4s, but I get +1 to hit in the side. So essentially, when you hit someone in the flank, it negates their shield bonus. So I'm hitting on 3s with a reroll. So all hits. See if the armor can save them. It's not too bad there. And then 4 is the kill. So 1 more Roman dead, not too bad. And then the Romans have 2 guys fighting back, hitting on 5s. No, so I've got 1 rank for the Fanatics and 3 kills. That's 4 compared to the Romans 1. So the Romans have lost. The Fanatics do have a warband, but they don't outnumber their opponent by more than 50%. So I don't get the plus momentum. So I only get 1 for winning and 1 for the flank. So I get 2 momentum. So 2 there. Make sure you always try to put them next to units so you know what's going on. So the Romans have to do a stand fast test on a 10 now. Caesar can't help them because he has no command points. Their Centurion's dead, so these guys are in a bit of trouble here. So 10. So 7, so they failed by 3. That's 3 more casualties. So they failed that test, so what I'll do is I'll clean up these casualties, move them 2 inches backwards for the pushback, and then we'll fight a consecutive combat. Okay, so the Fanatics now only have 6 attacks fighting the Romans, so hitting on 3s, but they've not got rerolls this time because they didn't charge this turn. So 3 hits, Roman armor, and then 4 is the kill. No kills this time. And then the Romans only have 1 guy fighting back, so 5. Nope, they miss. So the Romans still have a rank, these guys still have a rank, so it's actually a draw. So the momentum's gone, unfortunately, and those Romans stay there. So that is combat phase actually done because that was out of sequence. So now it's the Roman turn 4. Okay, so Roman turn 4 and it's the charge phase. Now, those cavalry don't want to charge the front of this unit of nobles, and they know that they can probably kill those archers with some javelins. So they're going to stay there, but what is going to happen is this unit of legionaries is going to declare a long charge onto this unit of nobles. Now, they are 10 inches away, which means they need a 6 on a single dice, but they may as well try to charge whilst these nobles are still in range. So that's the only charge declaration. So 6+ to get in. They actually get in. Fantastic. So these guys don't have any missile weapons, so let's move these Romans in and see what happens. Okay, so these British nobles are a much better match for these Romans, but the Romans have charged, so they've got a slight advantage. Plus they have these Pelums, which are going to penetrate the armour of these guys. So let's roll to see if any of these Pelums hit. So 16 dice, hitting on 4s. Let's see what happens. That's pretty good. So the noble's armour is 4+, but because the PM causes -1 armour save, they're only saving on 5s. So I'll reroll this one. Nope. So they save 2. Pelums killing on 4s. So suffer 3 casualties. That's not too bad. And then there is 12 attacks back. Hitting on 4s and killing on 4s with normal armour saves. Ooh, that weren't good. So that's 2 dead. Let's see if I kill that Centurion. No, so 2 Romans to 3, sorry, noble. So that's the throwing weapons. Let's get into the actual combat. So it is 14 Romans fighting 12 nobles. Romans are hitting on 4s with a reroll because they've taken the shield bonus away at the moment. So 4s rerolling. Pretty good. That weren't so good. And then it's a 5+ armour save. Like I said, the Pelums take away that armour save the first turn. So save 3. Killing on 4s. So 3 more dead. Quite consistent from the Romans there. Okay, then it is 12 back for the nobles. Now these hit on 3s normally, but they're hitting on 4s because of the shields. No rerolls. Roman armor of 4+. And then 4 is the kill. That's 2 more dead. Again, let's see if that Centurion dies, which he doesn't. So 2 more Romans dead. So that is 6, 7 for the Romans because they have 1 rank, and then the nobles have 2 and 4, so 6. So the Romans have just beaten the nobles by 1, so they gain 1 momentum, and then the nobles have to do a standfast test at starting at 7 -1, so they need an 8. They're fine. So let's tidy that up, end that combat, and let's go on to the Romans movement phase. Okay, so Romans don't have much to move in their movement phase. It's only this unit. And I've turned them towards this problem here. I'm expecting that the Romans might do quite well at reducing the effectiveness of these nobles here. Plus, they've got some cavalry in support there, so they've moved there. Caesar's staying where he is. He's just advising. Solo commanders can't ever be targeted, so you don't have to worry about him being in the way of anything. So that's that. So now we're on to shooting. We've got those Scorpios up there that are going to target these cavalry, and we've got those Roman cav about to finish off these archers. So we'll do the cav. 7 dice, hitting on 4s and killing on 4s. Whew. Maybe they'll survive. They do survive, so those archers are still there. Then we've got these 2 Scorpios up here targeting these cav. They're still in half range now, so they're hitting on 5s. So first one misses, second one hits. 2 dice to kill on 4s. Kills 2 cav. Quite nice from the shooting of the Romans this turn. So that's that done. Let's move on to combat. Alright, so there are 3 combats this turn. Let's start from one side and move to the other. So we've got 8, 11 Romans fighting the rest of these fanatics. Now these fanatics have been holding on for a while, so hopefully they don't push their luck. So Romans hitting on 5s. Killing on 4s. That's 2 more dead fanatics, so they're not doing too bad. And then there is 9 fanatics back hitting on 4s. Ooh, that weren't good. Roman armor save. 4s. And then killing on 4s. So they kill 1 in return, which means that the fanatics have actually lost that combat. So they have to do a test now on 8. They fail the test and they lose 5 more models. That is shocking from them. So 5 more. So I'll tidy that up, push them back, and we'll fight a consecutive combat. Okay, so the Romans now have 6 attacks. I've moved the guys at the back there just so you can see exactly how many guys are fighting. So 6 Romans versus 2 fanatics. Romans hitting on 5s. Killing on 4s. 1 dead. And then 2 fanatics hitting on 4s. Armor. Killing on 4s. So they kill 1 in return. But because the Romans still have their ranks, the fanatics have lost again. So the momentum goes up to 2 for the Romans here. And now the fanatics need a 9 to pass their test. They failed a test, which means that they are destroyed. And every unengaged friendly unit within 6 inches, so that will be the slingers and the cavalry, will have to do a panic test. 9 for them. They're fine. Cavalry, 9. So they lose 3 more. So it's not too good. So I'll take these fanatics off. I'll do the surge move for those Romans, which is very nice for them now. And then I'll get on to the next combat. Okay, so the last time this unit fought, there was actually a draw. So that means this unit of legionaries can't actually turn to face these fanatics. So we'll start with the Romans because it's their turn. So only 1 guy fighting, hitting on 5s, hits and kills on a 4. Nope. And then there's 6 fanatics fighting back, hitting on 3s. And the armor for the Romans. So that's only 2 through. And then killing on 4s. So they've killed 1 Roman, which means they win the combat and gain 2 momentum. Remember, 1 for the win, 1 for the flank. So that's a test for the Romans now. Needing a 10. We'll do that here. So they lose 7 more casualties. They only have 4 left. There's no command points from any commanders around to help the reroll, so they are dead. Again, friendly units within 6 inches have to do a test, so this unit that's just surged there will now have to do a test for their friends failing, so 8, and they're fine. So they're removed, and now these fanatics get to do a surge move. I'll do that, and then we'll move on to the next combat. So those fanatics have surged there, so that they're in the flank of this unit. Now it's just this combat left to go, so we've got 12 Roman legionaries versus 12 British nobles. Now the Romans don't have reroll, so I reckon they're going to struggle this time. So they're hitting on 5s. Only 3 hits. And the nobles' armour is better this time, so 4+. 1 killing on 4s. So they do actually kill someone, which is pretty good. And then it's 12 attacks back for the nobles. They're hitting on 4s. So that's very good. Roman armour is the same, so 4+. And then 4s to kill. Only 1 dead. So that is 1 kill for the Romans and 1 rank for the Romans. So that's 2. And the British just have 2 ranks. So they actually edge the win by 1 combat score. So 1 momentum to them. And then what we'll do is the stand fast test at 8 normally goes to 9. They fail that test, but remember that Centurion is still alive, so they can re-roll a dice. So I'll re-roll this one. They fail worse, so they lose 3 more casualties and then get pushed back, and then we fight a consecutive combat. So I'll tidy that up and then we'll do that extra combat. Okay, so it's a consecutive combat. Again, even numbers, 11v11. Starting with the Romans, hitting on 5s. So we have 4 hits. Saving on 4s, armor save, and then killing on 4s. So they didn't kill any British this time. Let's see if the British can kill them back. So 4s for these. 4+ armor save. And then killing on 4s. They've killed 3. Could potentially be that Centurion, which is so dead Centurion and 2 dead Romans. So I now get +1 momentum for the British, and they now have to do a command test needing a 10, which they fail by 2. That's 2 more dead. They get pushed back again, and we're going to fight the 3rd consecutive combat, which will be the last chance for the Romans to save themselves. So let's tidy up and get onto that as well. Now it's 7 Romans against 11 British nobles. Oh, got flying dice there. So it's going to be 5 for Romans to hit. That is 2 hits. Saving on 4s. British nobles. No save, so killing on 4s. That's 2 nobles dead. Not too bad. And then it is 11 back. Oh, you don't want to stand up. 11 back, hitting on 4s. Oof. Armor save on 4s. Very good as well. Killing 4s. So 2 dead. 2 for 2. And we've both got a rank still, so that actually ends up in a draw. So the Romans have just saved themselves, so that momentum's gone. That gets tidied up and the combat has ended. So it's now turn 5, starting with a British player. This is the situation at the moment. So there's been a lot of blood spilt on the field of battle today, and let's start with some charges to spill some more. So we're going to have these chariots charge the battlefield bystanders of the Romans. Now, skirmishers have a 360-degree line of sight, so they can do that. I'm also going to charge these fanatics into the flank of this unit here. Whilst I have the chance, these cavalry have been shot up quite a lot by those scorpions up there, so they're going to cower, I think, and they're going to move around here to shoot some javelins into the side of these guys. So let's start with the charge from this fanatic unit into here. So we'll pivot them. We'll check the distance. So that is 7 inches away. I need a 2+ on a single dice. They get that, so I'll move them in and let's roll some dice. Okay, so that is 7 throwing weapons against the Romans. And the Romans don't get to use there, so 4 is the hit. And then the Roman armor. And 4 is the kill. That's 1 Roman dead. Take it off from here because he will still get to fight in combat. And then let's do the combat. So 2, 4, 6, 7 Britons. Hitting on 3s with a reroll for the charge. Reroll. All hit, which is nice. Armor saves. The Romans have been doing really well this battle for armor saves. There's 4 is the kill. That's nice. 3 dead Romans. Oh, before I do that, see if that Centurion's alive. He's survived it, so 3 dead Romans from that. 2, 3 total. And then it will be just the 2 Romans in base-to-base contact fighting back. Hitting on 5s. Killing on 4s. Ooh, so no kills. So those fanatics have won that combat. They get 1 momentum for winning, 1 momentum for the side. So the Romans have to do a test on 8 minus 2 is 10. They do have that Centurion, so that might save them if they fail. So 7. So I might as well reroll this 3 and see if I can get a 6. So it's the same. So I lose 3 more casualties on the Romans. And then they get pushed back and we'll fight a consecutive combat. Second combat, 7 fanatics into them. So 3s again. No rerolls this time. 4 plus armor save. And then killing on 4s. So 1 dead. See if it's a Centurion again. It isn't. And it's going to be 2 Romans hitting on 5s. 4's the kill. So 1 dead. So it's actually going to be a draw. 1 kill each, 1 rank each. So that momentum is gone. Casualties have tied it up. But remember that it's a draw. So these guys won't get to turn to fight them next time they fight. So that could make a big difference. Next is the charge from these charioteers onto the battlefield bystanders. Now the battlefield bystanders don't actually attack in combat. Once they are successfully charged by a unit, they are removed and count as a casualty for the game, and then you get more victory points at the end of the game, so that could make a difference. So the distance is 6 inches away. The chariots move 7 anyway, or skirmish cavalry moves 7 inches, so they're automatically in. So let's move them in. So you do this. These guys will just come around again, keeping in formation. This is removed as a casualty. And then I'll get to surge move with those charioteers. So I'll do that and then come back to it. Okay, so I surge these chariots so that they can charge these Scorpios next turn. And that's all the charge is done now. So what we'll do is movement for the Britons quickly and then do some shooting. Okay, so for shooting, the archers are going to shoot them cavalry yet again. These cavalry have moved into the flank of this unit of legionaries, and then those slingers are going to shoot them as well. So let's do that. Starting with the archers onto the horses. So hitting on 5s. 5 plus armor. Killing on 5s. Nope. Then we've got 6 horses. Hitting on 5s. Ooh. 4 plus armor. Saved all of them. Really good. And then we've got 10 slingers shooting into the rear. Again, that doesn't make a difference, but 5s. 4 plus armor save. And they're killing on 5s. They've not killed anything, so skirmish has been shocking for the Britons this game. So turn 5 for the Romans now. It's coming towards the end of the game, so this shouldn't take too long now. So let's get into that. So combat, as I said before, these Romans can't turn now. So I've got 5 fanatics in the side versus 1 Roman. So fanatics hitting on 3s, no rerolls. That's not good. Armor save. They saved them. So Romans back hitting on 5s, miss. So it's a draw again. And then we'll move on to this one. So we have all the Romans fighting. All the Romans fighting 9 nobles, so nobles hitting on 4s, saving on 4s, and killing on 4s. Nice and easy, isn't it? So remember, so 1 Roman dead, and then 5 Romans back, hitting on 5s, saving on 4s, killing on 4s, so no kills from the Romans. So the Romans have lost that combat, giving the nobles 1 momentum, so they have to now pass their test on a 9, which they fail by 2, so 2 dead. They get pushed back 2 inches, so I'll sort that out and then we'll get to the consecutive combat. 2 Romans versus 4 nobles, so the nobles first, 4s, 4 plus armour, killing on 4, so I could wipe them out now, which I do. So the Romans fighting back, 5s, and no, so they're dead. They have to do a test. These guys don't because they are engaged. So test for the Roman cav on an 8. They have an adjoined commander, so it increases their leadership by 1, so 7. So they're fine. So I'll surge with these nobles, take those Roman casualties off, and then we'll go on to the Roman turn 5. So Roman turn 5, those nobles have gone right into the face of those cavalry, so they have to think about either charging or trying to finish off those archers before they get killed. So turn 5 for the Romans. What we're going to do actually, I think, is those cavalry are going to declare a charge, and they're either going to go down fighting or be heroic and potentially save the day. So to do that charge, these legionaries over here can't actually do anything because the British are running circles around them. So let's move these cavalry in there, like that. So we've got 7 cavalry with their throwing weapons against 9 British nobles. Now, the cav do have throwing weapons, so they're hitting on 4s. And British armour is 4, so they save them. And then you've got 9 nobles with their throwing weapons hitting on 4s. And Roman armour of 5 here. Pretty good for them. Killing on 4s. So 1 cavalryman dead, which means they lose an attack in the combat. So we've got 6 cavalry now, but the attached commander, the sub-commander, actually does have a dice. So I'm going to use the black dice for him. And he hits on 1 better normally. So he hits on 3s, but it's 4s. And they're hitting on 5s. But they get a reroll again because they charged. So pretty good. Then the armour save. 4 plus. So they've saved all of them. Wow. And then we've got the 9 nobles back. This is not looking good for these cavalry, I think. 9 nobles back hitting on 4s. That wasn't too good either. Armour save of 5. Killing on 4s. So 1 more cavalryman dead. So when cavalry charge is slightly different, they ignore both units ignore all rank bonuses in the initial combat. So it's just down to the kill. So the cavalry killed nothing and they took 2 casualties. So the nobles actually won. So it gives them a momentum of 1. Cavalry are on 8 normally, so they go to 9. But they do have him in there, so they're going to go to a 8. So they fail that test by 2. Take 2 more casualties. And then I'll push them back and we'll fight a consecutive combat. So next combat, 3 Romans and their leader hitting on 5s and 4s. So no hits, unfortunately. And then there is only 8 nobles hitting this time. So 4s. Saving on 5s the Romans are. Save 1. And then 4s to kill. So that's 2 more Roman cavalry dead. I think they're in trouble. Worth the charge, but they didn't do too well. So +1 momentum now for the nobles. So the cavalry need to get a 8 normally goes to 10, goes back down to 9 for him. So 9. They pass the test. Really good. So that momentum's gone. The combat ends. And casualties are removed. So let's get on to the Roman movement and shooting. So for the movement, these legionaries have turned to face the threat of the cavalry, and Caesar's joined them just to boost their leadership a little bit. There's nothing else that the Romans can do movement-wise, so it's just the Scorpios shooting. So they're going to shoot the cavalry again. So first shot, actually they're over half range now, so they're hitting on 6s. So first Scorpio, 6s. Second Scorpio, 6s. He hits. Cavalry are only down to 1 rank now, so 1 dice, killing on 5s. Killed another one, which is nice. So that's shooting done for the Romans. Now on to combat. So we'll do the cavalry first, because there's only a few of them left. So 1 cavalryman, 1 leader. Black dice is the leader, hitting on 4s. The other one's hitting on 5s. 5s for the armor save. And then 3's the kill for a leader. They normally hit and kill better. So it's actually killed 1. And then it's going to be 3, 4, 5, 6 nobles back. So these cavalry are looking like they're going to be gone this turn. So 4s, 5 plus armor save, and 4's the kill. So no. So the Roman cavalry have killed 1, but they have no ranks. And the nobles have 1 rank but haven't killed anything. So that's a draw again. So those cavalry are clinging on to dear life, but they're not dead yet. Here might be a different story. So again, the Romans can't turn because it was a draw last turn. So we've got 5 fanatics fighting into the side. So they're hitting on 3s. No rerolls. Armor save for the Romans, and then 4's the kill. Ooh. So no kills. And then 1 Roman doesn't hit because he needs a 5. So that's a draw yet again. So even though those fanatics have charged into the side there, those Romans have still got a bit of staying power. So that's Roman turn 5 done. Turn 6, let's see what happens, because this is nearly done. We might get a few more kills here, so let's see how it goes. Okay, so turn 6 for the Britons, and all that's going to happen in the charge phase is these chariots are going to charge that first Scorpion there. It's going to be an automatic charge. So what happens is they move in again. This Scorpio gets destroyed, and this Scorpio has to do a test for a destroyed unit. And also these have to do a test as well. They're within 6 inches. Yep, so that Scorpio does a test on an 8 and stays. This unit does a test on an 8, but Caesar's joined them now, so they're on a 7. So they're fine. So that Scorpio's destroyed. These chariots can surge, and they're going to surge here so that they can shoot this remaining legion here. And then these units are going to move up in the movement phase, ready for the shooting phase. Okay, so Cassivlawn has actually decided that his cavalry were a bit too fragile to move too close to those legions. So it's going to be the slingers and the chariots shooting into that legion. The archers, although they can normally shoot, they can't shoot into that unit of cavalry because they've not got more than 1 rank that's unengaged. So what they're actually going to do is just stay there and hide and thank the gods that they've survived that battle. So shooting here, 10 slingers first, I think, hitting on 5s, 3 hits, saving on 4s, and then killing on 5s. Nope. And then we've got 4 horses and then 2 javelins from the charioteers here. So 4s for the white, sorry, 4s for the blacks, 5s for the whites. Yep. Actually, that's pretty good. Armor save. And then 5s to kill for the whites here. So no ineffective shooting again. So it's just onto the combat phase. And let's start with this central one, I think. So 5 fanatics fighting again. Breeze. Armor save for the Romans, 4s, and then 4 is the kill. No kills again. Romans hitting on 5s, so that is another draw. They're hanging on here. We've got, it's going to be 5 noblemen fighting the cav, hitting on 4s. Wow. Armor saver for 5. No, killing on 4s. So that cavalry unit is now dead, but they do get to fight. Remember, black dice for the leader, hitting on 4s for him, 5s for the other dice. So only he hits. Armor save, and killing on 3. So he does kill 1 on the way down. So that unit is destroyed, and he becomes a captured commander. Now, commanders can be recaptured during the game, but it looks like that's not going to happen this game. So I'll do the surge move for them, tidy up, and then it'll be the last turn for the Romans to see if they can get any more points or kill any more units. So let's get onto that. Okay, so turn 6 for the Romans, charge phase. It's looking very dire for them at the moment. There is no options for them to be charging anything. They could declare a charge on these skirmishes, but they'll evade and then they'll be too far away, so there's no need for them to do that. So we can go on to the movement phase. Again, all that I've got to move here is Caesar and the Scorpio. Because it's the last turn of the game, there's no need for them to move. The Scorpio, if that moves, it can't shoot, so that's not going to move. It's just going to shoot this unit of cavalry again to see if it can get more casualties. And then after we do that, we'll move on to this last combat and see if maybe that last unit of Romans can turn the tide of the game and kill those fanatics. So Scorpio first, hitting on the 6s. It misses. They've done pretty well with their rolls, but they've just been missing by 1. So last combat of the game. Let's see how it goes. So do the Romans first. 1 dice, hitting on 5s. Misses on a 1 as well, of course. It's now 5 fanatics hitting on 3s. That's 3 hits. Let's see if the Roman armor can save them. And it does. So that's a draw. That is the game completed now. So I'll show you the situation on the table. So we've still got those archers on the left there. The nobles survived and actually killed 2 units, which didn't look like they was going to do, but they did. These guys have, I'd say both of those units have done really well, and that Centurion's done well as well. Caesar's still alive with his last, well, just above half-size unit there, and then Casablanca is hiding with his cavalry there. And then the chariots and that last Scorpio's up there. So very good game all around. I think that twisted and turned. It looked like it was going to be in favour of the Romans at the start, but like I said, it's not over until it's over. So what I'll do now is I'll tally up some points just to see how the game actually worked out, and then we'll sort that out. So give me a second, I'll come back to you. Okay, so I've just done a quick tally up of the points in the game, and the British actually won the game by 366 points, which is only a standard victory. So the Romans didn't get absolutely beaten, but the British stole the day in the end. Those chariots getting the points for those battlefield bystanders at the back really did help, and unfortunately losing the cavalry and the commander at the end I think may have tipped the balance. So luckily the British survived and repelled back Julius Caesar. Unfortunately they didn't kill him, so maybe history was right. So if you like that video, please consider liking and subscribing to the video, and if you have any thoughts about the game, please comment as well and we'll be happy to reply to you. So until next time, see you later, and thanks for watching.